Okay, so polar coordinates, something really cool. They call them harmonics and all that kind of stuff. But that's not enough in introduction. So let's go ahead and dive into this bad boy over here, and forget about that boy over there, and get a line sop. Now our line sop pretty much gonna be doing the point creation. So in our case, we're gonna be creating a lot of points. So in my case, 3,600 points, so that we get a smooth interpolation. And for the distance, you can put any distance, but I'm gonna just put the value of 10 over here. That's like 3,600 divided by 10, kind of sorta. So got that done. So the next part will be actually to create a VOP sub. We should actually do all the manipulation for us, since we cannot. I don't really do a lot of expressions because I really don't like typing a whole lot. And I got this bad keyboard over here. Really can type correctly. So dive inside the DevOps by double clicking on it, and we're gonna do a little bit of a screen rearrangement over here since our screen is so big and our point is so small over here. We're gonna go to Windows over here, and we're gonna create a new desktop, or you can press Alt D, as you can tell by the little shortcut. Now we're gonna go ahead and split this by clicking the little arrow over here, and you're gonna split top to bottom, or you can click the Alt and right square bracket, and we're gonna split the top one more time. So we're gonna split it up left to right, and I would say that would be cool. So in our case, we can make this the network view, and this one also will be a network view, but we're gonna actually pin them down accordingly. So as of right now, both of them do the same thing. So once you double click on one, both of them go to the same thing. And as you can tell, VOPs is over here, VOPs is over here. But actually what we want to do is actually pin VOPs down, so that way it never goes out of that particular context. So you just pin it down. And now if you go back up, you got your regular network view on the top, of which you might be needing that right now, or you might need this as the because I mean you can just go up with this eventually to wherever you want. So we're gonna leave this to be the parameters for right now. All right. So now that we got that done, we're gonna actually go ahead and begin this whole project by actually dropping a vector to float, so that we can actually split our data over here. Now, one thing to realize is that as of right now, X and Z are actually zero values. The only thing that has values in it is actually the Y attribute over here, or the Y coordinate. Everything else has zero value. So you can usually right click on this and go to spreadsheet. If you go to position, if you just click on position, actually, all that is zero, all that is zero. So what we're gonna be trying to get is the Y value. Now this is not really crucial, because I mean if I change this to 1 and that to 0, you get to find that now well, all your values go actually to the X coordinate. 0 and Y and Z get a 0 value. So it depends on actually what kind of coordinate you have. So in my case, I'm gonna just leave it as Y. So we're gonna be dealing in Y. So going back inside over here, Y is the only port that has the values in it. So we're gonna do a float to vector, being that we're gonna be binding the whole thing back up one more time. And now if I just plug this in over here, or you can plug it into the X and see what happens. So now the line is just gonna, go to the X, like so. If you take out the grid, now the line goes down like so. But actually, what we really want to do in our case is mess with, I'm gonna press the D on the keyboard, take that out. What I really want to do is actually mess with trigonometric functions. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop in a trigonometric function, and I'll plug in the y to the radians, and this is a cosine. So in order for me to make a circle, I would actually do the same thing all over again and get the same value from the same point, and this time change it to a sine. Now if I plug this into the x coordinate and this one into the y and to the z coordinate, you get a spiral, as you can tell. Now the reason for it going up is because the y value is actually being added up on every single step. So if you do multiply by constant, you can actually reduce the y um, or the spring or whatever you want to call it distance. So if you put the grid on here, you can tell how big this is. So you can tell that you can increase the springiness of it, and you can play with the frequencies over here. Being if you put that to 5, you have to put this to 5 too, and now your spring kind of goes up a little bit higher up and has more spins to it. So pretty much, you can mess with a lot of stuff over here as far as for okay. If I take out the these are some of the harmonics that you actually see a whole lot in the in when you do the sine and all that. Pretty much this is what you be getting. So there's all the little, if you put this to a value of 1, you get that. If you put this to a value of 2, pretty much that you're putting up constants and all that, you get the different little shapes over here. So now all of these are dependent on what you actually put in. So you just gotta play around with the harmonics of this particular level. Now the one that I really want to focus on is the one called the polar coordinate kind, whatever. So now we're actually gonna manipulate the data a little bit, and what we're actually gonna do is actually create a parameter. And in this parameter over here, what we're actually gonna go ahead and do is actually plug this in into the frequency of both of them. Now if I put this to be a value which is even, so pretty much like 1 or something, or 2 in our case, it just creates a circle. Now with our circle being created, now if you actually can mess up with these values again, now using trigonometric functions. So I'm gonna drop in another trigonometry, and righteously I don't even have to, okay, for one, I should have done that. I'm gonna just leave this over here. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is actually multiply this, take this, multiply this, but get the trigonometric function of the y one more time. And now we're gonna actually mess around with this a little bit. So you're gonna plug this in over here, and I'm gonna do the same thing over here one more time. So get this, plug it in, get this, plug it in, and now plug this into the same ports one more time. Now you get that little shape over here, which is really cool. So I'm gonna just go to I just went to the top view, spacebar and the number 2. So you get that little shape over there, and you still gotta mess around with the frequency and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, those are some cool shapes right there. And I don't know about you guys, but I always wondered how they make screensavers. Now I know. So all those are like different harmonics that you can get. And now that we got that plugged in, let's try this on the Z, and wow, you get that. So now you can just go ahead, play around with this, and you're gonna get all kinds of shapes, and that's just in one particular port. Now you can actually add some more flavor to this and just add in a parameter and multiply that to this. And you see that just kind of elongates it, and if you plug it in over here one more time, it just makes the radius a little bit bigger. So you can actually think of this as the radius, I believe. But now the problem comes up that you have two parameters that have the same name. In Houdini, that doesn't, Houdini doesn't let you do that, because it doesn't know what to because everything has its own namespace. So we can actually name this to like radius or something. So that way, now this is a 0 value. So now you actually increase this, you get a bigger flower, kind of sorta. And for this one, if you mess with it some more, you get all these different shapes. Now you can actually just go ahead and drag the whole thing over here. That I just click on the float over here, drag it over here in the viewport, and you can just click the ASCII to match the selection, and now you can just mess with this. And pretty much you can just go around and around just looking at this stuff because it's just awesome like that. So I mean, it's a simple project for sure. It is a simple project, but um, once you start messing with this, it's just cool. Just looking at all these shapes. No wonder they call them harmonics. And pretty much that's it for real when you think about it. I mean, it ain't much to it. All you gotta do now is actually just mess with the values over here, and you know, once you get the whole thing, up and running, I mean, ain't nothing like it for real. So I'm gonna just let you guys mess with the numbers and all the different values which you can get out of this. So that's pretty much it for me. So radius. I'm done fumbling. I'm gonna see you in the next one. I'm out. Cheer. Okay, and I'm back. I thought I was done, but I wasn't. I guess I was so excited looking at this, but nah, yeah. We're done with the VAR part as far as for creation of all this stuff. But what we're gonna go ahead and do is go back to the upper level a little bit over here. And what we're gonna go ahead and do is actually do a little bit of not cleanup, but let's say you're gonna be rendering this and you're gonna make an animation out of it. So we're gonna go ahead and create a delete, and we're gonna be deleting points, as you might have guessed. So we're gonna delete points. We're gonna delete by expression, and we're gonna delete every single point which is greater than 0. Now you may ask, what does that help us? Well, we're gonna make an animation out of this, but we don't like animating the 0 over here like this. We're gonna make a parameter for it. So we're gonna edit the parameter interface, drag in an integer since a point can only exist one time, and we're gonna drop it right here. Then we're gonna call this delete. Then name points probably. It just depends on what you want to name it. It really don't even matter. Now you can actually just copy this parameter, and we're gonna paste it over here. It's gonna delete our previous expression, but that's okay. So now we're actually gonna put the same expression one more time. So point greater than 0. So actually, one more thing I forgot is I'm gonna go back edit the parameter interface, and for this one I'm gonna change the I'm gonna lock the lower value range, and for the maximum we'll make it 3600, so that way we can animate from all the way down to the very top. So we can actually start creating the little, actually look at that. So it actually goes like swing 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 swing. So you can imagine if you have the y attribute, it's all flat as of right now. So if you wanna do the y, are you sure? I think I showed you how to kind of do that. So um, so now you can actually just animate this up to the particular portion that you want. And if you want to actually render this, if you actually render right now, the whole thing will actually render correctly because it's like thick, unless you make it like really big. But if you really make it big was in your plan, you can actually create an attribute. So an attribute create, and the attribute we're going to be creating actually already built for us, so you really can create your own. So if I actually say help on this one, you can actually search for an attribute called width, and if you look it under rendering attributes, you'll see a lot of attributes, and width is one of them. So pretty much this is a detailed this is a defined attribute in Houdini that actually tells how big the curve is gonna be rendered. So if you go back over here, you can just name this width, and you can give it a low value like 0.01 probably, and well, you can create a little material or something, material palette, and create a constant, and probably well, let's go back to the top over here and go material. You can just drag this in over here. You can give it a white color, yellow color. If you can get the little thing to should have done my material thing over here. Material palette. Then this can go back to parameters, and can give it a yellow, green, shade color, kind of sorta. Actually, if we render, I'm gonna go to the top view. If we actually render this, we get our little, line like so. And you can imagine you can make a screensaver out of this or whatever that you want to create out of this. So pretty much now I can say that I'm actually done. I'm really sure that I'm done. So pretty much if you mess with this, you get a fatter attribute or fatter width, kind of sorta. So you got to play with the numbers, and it's just amazing what you can get out of this. So that's pretty much the animation as it is. Well, it ain't no animation, but that's the values that you can those are the shapes that you can get out of this. It's amazing. It's just amazing. And pretty much now I can say I'm done, and I'm sure that I'm done. I'm out. Second time for so out.